Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're live on iRacing for the Pagnian Imports Super 2 series. We've got round 2 up tonight. We're at Winton Motor Raceway National Circuit. Session tonight at Winton. We've got 10 minutes of practice. Weather is partly cloudy. Then going for 10 minutes of qualifying and a 40-minute race. Cars are capped at 47% fuel, so they're going to need to take fuel to finish up the race. It's standing starts with restarts being single file with lap cars to the back. In our standings after round 1, we have Sebastian Vandel narrowly leading the championship, and that's after coming through with a nice win in round 1 after qualifying third, and we saw Sam Tucker walk away with the fastest lap bonus points. So we'll jump over and take a look at the track. We do have Winton loaded up on this system. So we've got 2.95 kilometers for the track at Winton, and you can already see there is a huge amount of drivers out on the track. We had a huge amount of numbers last week, and it was very tight at Sandown. So it's going to be even more tight and fierce racing around Winton with about 29 drivers at the moment. And if you are just joining us for the stream and haven't done so, click that follow button so you can be notified when we go live. We're here Monday nights on iRacing and then also Thursday nights for Project Cars too. A 5-round series, so we've got another 3 rounds to go of the Super 2s, and it will be exciting throughout all Australian tracks for it. Hey Gallant, we got Charlie, thanks for joining the stream, good evening. Charlie and Gallenhad, do jump into the chat, say hello, don't be shy. And there is a whole bunch of sound effects that you can play over the stream as well, so that should be down underneath your stream. So you can cheer, applaud, boo as you please as the race goes and unfolds. So have some fun playing with those sound effects. So we've got 3 minutes left for open practice. Starting to see a fair few times coming through. Drivers found that they were struggling to get in a lap with the amount of traffic that we had last week. I think it did throw all the drivers off the mark a little bit. Didn't expect a sudden influx of numbers. Hopefully the drivers are a little bit more adapted coming into tonight's round. And Gallant, would be great if you had time to get some practice in behind the V8 to debut. And yes, it's all custom setups. It was rather interesting for the drivers last week. So there's not a wealth of setups available online in the legacy V8s. Model of supercar on iRacing is a pretty much retired model, but they did have a huge amount of tuning that has been done, and the car's very nice to handle. But then since the current gen supercars in the game are usually more often used, and then the new track being Sandown, the latest edition coming to iRacing, there wasn't a whole lot out there that drivers had been using. We will try and find our debuts. So we've got Oliver Patterson debuting tonight. He's made the crossover from Project Cars. So for our regular viewers who have seen Coco Dog race on Project Cars, that is Oliver Patterson. See what Mark Cochran's put on the car. He likes to always have a brand new livery every week. was running Chickadee last week. We've got Ryan Ducati McCarthy also debuting. Nice old Kmart livery on that Commodore, looks fantastic. Have Tyson Hammer debuting. That's open practice complete. So we'll get a small amount of time for drivers to finish up their laps, and then we'll head over into 10 minutes of qualifying. There are championship points on the line. It was rather quick to throw us over into the qualifying. That is right, Gal. Damien's jumped over into the Century Motorsports team. So you can see quite a sea of the KFC logos around the track now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row there. Quite hard to actually just pick out which driver's going to be which when we've got a good portion of the KFCs out there. The Full Throttle Racing guys even changing their coloured cars after my confusion from the Formula Vs. So P is sneaking his way around. Jump on board for a lap here. On board with Sam Tucker. It is a good, fun, fast technical track. It's a very long left-hander. Followed by right, very cautious of that curb. It is rather high. Then we've got the few hairpins, a little bit slippery still. Those tyres a tad cool. Trying to weave your way through those hairpins. If you can get the perfect line, you're going to be able to make up a lot of opportunity, be able to score in a pass, but then you do have to try and sneak in around that traffic. We've got 30 drivers loaded at the moment. The back straight coming down into the final corner. Double apex band now onto a good long pit straight. We did, I think, just a little bit earlier. We're on the second part of that straight. This is where we crossed over with Sam Tucker. And we didn't throw him the commentator's curse. That was glad that we didn't unsettle most of the drivers that we jump on board with. Usually put them into a spin. And Century Motorsports in the chat saying a family feast tonight. Sure is. cars last week. Tony Phillips has changed his car. He was running the Milo car last week. Current pole position holder is Cameron Veacock. Sebastian Varndell not too far off that time. 0.023 difference. Yeah, that is right, Robbie. It's going to be very important for quali trying to get that lap in. They struggled last week around Sandown with the number of cars trying to get that clean lap in without being held up in traffic. We've got a good portion of the drivers that have put in a time, so our first 22 drivers have managed to get a time on the board. And that's still increasing, so that's fantastic to see that they're just finding that gap and holding that rhythm. Pattinson's running beer liveries on the car, Forex and the VB. Got 5 drivers not yet setting a qualifying time. Oh no, we've just had one more come through. Lucas Bird's got one in. Russell Gander to get a time on the board. This could seem get one on there. Yes, that gets him up. Moves him to position 20. Just 3.5 minutes. There's only a few drivers yet to get a time established. Championship points on the line for qualifying, very crucial for our drivers with the championship standings. As now that's a larger field, we're going to start seeing those qualifying championship points dwindle off, and it's the same case in the race. Apparently the first 30 are actually going to score points. Well, that was rather random, just heard an explosion and then the car spun off. If the engine was just blown. Cameron Veacock still holding pole. He's just furthering that gap that he had between himself and Varndell. So he's got up to a few temps now. Like Seb holding back a little bit just to get that nice gap and then get the run on. He's only going to get another couple of laps opportunity for the qualifying. Sam Tucker making his way back out on track. Should have enough time to be able to get this out lap in. And then it'll be enough time just to throw one final lap in. Demi Kent's currently qualifying 5th for 1 minute 20. Adrian Simpson trying to let some traffic through. Slippery down to that final corner. Vardell coming for that final corner. Wozier's carrying a huge amount of speed. The car was leaving a cloud of smoke in its path. Looks like he's parking the car up. He's going to have some fun in the skid pan potentially. Is he going to do it? No. Oh, there's just a big slide going on. Is qualifying complete, so there's going to be a short amount of time to finish up final laps. Most likely we're going to get shoved over in the session reasonably quick. The server did take a little bit to load up tonight, so we usually get much shorter intermission once those sessions have got that countdown. So we're going to take a look at the qualifying results. Now qualifying at Winton, we have Cameron Veacock holding pole position, and Sebastian did bring that gap down a little bit more, but not enough to take that pole. And the rest of the grid we then have Sebastian Vardell, Cameron Jones, Sam Tucker, Damien Cairns, Stephen Banks, Adrian Simpson, Blake Urquhart, Stephen Martin, Jason Schooler, Damien Cross, Oliver Pattinson, Tyson Hanmer, Justin Haitley, Michael Quain, Gary Buckland, Tony Phillips, Lucas Burt, Daniel Gomes, Mark Cochran, and our last 10 on the grid. We just had a little bit of movement, and it's Josh Harvey, Ryan DiCardia McCarthy, Nathan Peters, Russell Gannett, Shane Newans, Shane Patterson, Philip Buckland, Lee Davies, Anita Buckland, and Corey Brand. A few drivers just utilising that last little bit of time just to get their setups going, and a little bit of extra track practice as well. There we are, session now concluded, so over to the grid. Shot for the start. We're going to be able to see a good length for drivers. So we have only five drivers shorter than what we had last week. It's still going to be very heavy in traffic. We did miss a lot of carnage, only a few turns in. Wasn't discovered until after seeing the replay. The driver's got 50 seconds left on the clock to grid it, otherwise they will be seeing themselves start from pit lane. Again, it is a good qualifying result for Oliver's debut. Waiting 5 more drivers. Davies not making the grid. And we're away. Green flag for Winton. Good start both by Veacock and Vardell. very clean getaway. Zero incidents being reported at this stage. Not even a tiny off track. Cameron Jones, oh, I think he may have just tapped. That was Sam Tucker, I believe, that's gone for the spin. He's trying to, oh, he's causing a little bit of traffic jam, trying to sneak back in on track. Just fit in 3 wide, that could have gone very bad, almost causing incident. It's just gone off track. Doesn't look like anyone's taken any damage. Bardell up on 2 wheels for those first 2 corners. Driver's still sitting very tight over there, that opening lap. I'm anticipating possibly a bit more incidents occurring. James looking to take on Van Del. Van Del now occupied with Jones in the mirror. Leacock starting to pull away. Haley's got Quain quickly closing in on him. Ooh, that was a big blink out. Quite a lag spike that was went on. I'm starting to feel some big pressure from Damien Cairns. Simpson gets a little bit slippery coming out of the hairpin. He's just dropped a heap of pace. Just going to see Schooler now have an opportunity to make a move on him. Like some lap traffic. I think that was Phillips. He's been in and had to pit. He's done an 11-second stop, so he's utilised a fast repair. That's going to be too early on to be able to take on some fuel to have a last out that race. Battles going on. So Cross has dropped a couple of positions, seeing Quain and Gomes move up. Oliver Pattinson gets around Gary Buckland. He got a little wide going through the hairpin. Looks like he's struggling with the car just a little bit at the moment. That's Handman's just gone off, come back on. the pace a bit now after that slip that he had. We're on lap 4. Peacock's led the whole way. Yeah, he's right, Rob. It is like a game of chess. You've really got to plan your moves, trying to get around. These corners are very tight. Do not want to be going in for a risky move for a pass and find yourself tangled up. Big opportunity is going to be coming out onto those straights, trying to get that nice line all the way through the hairpins. And you can sit right on the tail after keeping that momentum, coming onto that back straight. You're going to have the advantage of making the pass and corner exit. Peacock has a 2-second lead over Vandel. Moved up into position 3. Brand coming into the pits. Philip Buckland and Ryan. Cardi McCarthy starting to close that gap in a little. Looks like Buckland's starting to pull away a little. Shane Newen's also closing in behind them. On the back of Banks is keeping around only 1.5 second gap. Previous lap, Banks was only 3 tenths quicker than Cairns. Cairns carrying a heap of pace this lap. He's closing in very quickly. He's just lost that momentum. Ran rather wide, just managed to pull the car in. Battling for that understeer, however, now he's just made a little bit of contact. It was Josh Harvey for a slide that could have gone bad. Lap traffic coming up for the drivers to get around. They are trying to close in on Simpson. Peacock still furthering that lead. He's pushed it out to 3.6 seconds now and still climbing. Previous lap pace is about 6 tenths quicker than Vandel. just past a quarter of the way through the race. Could very well come down to pit stops here. It's been a very tidy opening quarter by the looks of things. Cameron Jones has taken some damage, he's lost that boot lid and even the bonnet's gone. He's probably within a good position here to be able to head in and take on some fuel. Drivers do have the fast repairs to use to fix up that car and get them back out on track. If that car seems to be holding out alright, you might battle on for a little bit longer with that damage. We have Haitley and Hanmer. Yeah, Gallen, I can be able to stay on after the stream and try and help you with a few settings to get you set up with your iRacing. Oh, Robbie, that's how a Commodore should look. School has got Simpson only 7 tenths behind now, and with Urquhart also in the tow. Jones still pushing on with that damage that's not affecting him, obviously. Still opting to stay out for another lap, so he's going to try and last that fuel out to that latest refuel point. And he's done well to take that sort of damage and be sitting in position 8. He's 20 seconds away from race lead. Got about 4 seconds before Haitley can catch up to him. There's about 12 seconds ahead is Urquhart. And even the previous lap for Jones, a 121.2. We're just up ahead. Urquhart, a 121.3. Jones's Commodore managing to still keep pace at the moment despite the damage. I'm not sure if this has been a tow situation for Corey Brand. Can't seem to pick up if he was involved in an incident. He may have just had an off track. So we're 11 laps in now. Cox has led for those 11 laps. Battle for position 3 still continuing. Banks unable to shake Cairns. Cairns struggling to reel Banks in. Can seems to be carrying a lot more pace through the hairpins though. That's where we see him close that gap in a few times. Banks manages to pull away in the more faster sections. And Cairns get the run of him here. On board Damien Cairns. A little bit loose at that exit. I saw Banks start to pull away. Like there's some damage to the car for Oliver Patterson. He's missing bonnet on the car. Patterson and Buckland move up a position. Damien Cross was dropping off a fair bit of speed. I think he may have been recovering from a little bit of a slip. They're also really catching up to Quain. Managed to get the pass on, well, actually no, well, it was Jones that was chasing, sorry no, it was Schooler and Simpson. Managed to get around. A little bit of a slide through the corner for Simpson. Burkhart's been in and pit now. Burns moving aside, showing blue flag. Varndell's just peeled off into the pits. Sorry, Veacock's peeled off in the pits, seeing Varndell move up into race lead. Trailing by about 5 seconds. Veacock's going to need a very quick stop here to be able to come back out, to be able to have enough gap still to actually hold that lead. Jones also heading on in, as is Schooler. As we are just approaching that halfway point, we'll probably see a fair few more drivers deciding to head in. Like about half the field's been in and pit. There's been an off. swim. Tucker's recovered up into position 7. That was after he went into the swim. We weren't sure if it may have been a little bit of a tap from Jones before when they were coming down into the hairpin. Just gone in, competing. Peacock, a 19.8 second stop. Pit stops average time about 16.8 seconds. On Vandel's pit strategy, the extra few seconds the Peacock has taken on could potentially close that gap a little bit more for Vandel. So it's only trailing by 5 before Peacock peeled off into the pits. Vandel last week doing a lot of fuel conservation during the race, just trying to push that car out for as long as he could. That could have even been the case, that's what we were saying when he was just dropping back a little bit. Three-way battle here between Hammer, Haitley and Buckland. Buckland concedes and lets Haitley and Hammer through. Patterson and Damien Cross contesting for position 15. Both have been in and pit. Patterson's got that car fixed up. A little bit slippery for Cross. Maybe feeling a little bit of pressure from Patterson. He's sitting a hot tight behind. That may be Quain just up ahead. Quain's made an error and it's just cost him 2 positions. Cross and Patterson now move up. Peacock's back in the lead. Vandel has been in and pit. A 20.7 second stop. I've seen him lose a position to Damien Cairns. Cairns only spending 16.8 seconds on that stop. An extra few seconds Vandel used in the pits, costing him that position. Inside pass around Patterson. God, having them have made 2 stops. Looks like we've only had 3 drivers out of the whole field that have had to go in for a second stop. Well, looks like it's been a very tidy race. I think that's Peters, it's just gone off. Peters. Oh, Patterson's gone off. Turn 2. Very fortunate spot to run out. He's able to rejoin pretty quickly. Chasing down Philip Buckland. Not too far ahead, Nathan Peters. A massive lead now for Veacock, 10.7 seconds, 12 minutes remaining. We're on lap 19, Veacock's led for 16 of them. Vandel taking over a race lead for 3 laps. Veacock peeled off into the pits. See Vandel getting a heap of curb through the chicane. He's pushing that car. Very similarly paced between Vandel and Cairns. It's only a 10th difference on that previous lap. And even in their fastest race lap so far, a difference of a 10th. Jones closing in on Schooler. Haley and Tucker battling for position 8. He's going to swing out. There's not enough pace to get in for the turn in. Oh, as we cross over to Simpson, there was a cloud of smoke across pit straight. Still carrying. I'm not sure if it may just be a little bit of lock coming down to those corners. Smoke's just hanging around. Oh, Tucker getting right on the tail of Haley. He's looking for that opening. If there's been Instant, or if it's just some rubbing going on. McQueen and Patterson. As we crossed over, they were bumper to bumper. All the drivers doing incredibly well, so we're only shy of about 5 drivers compared to last week's race. Have minimal incidents going on. It's going to be interesting for Patterson. Coming down to the chicane, he yields to Buckland. It almost looked like he was contemplating a move. I would have only just seen him running off and potentially caught up in an incident. Ooh, big lock for Quain. That's going to cost him a huge amount of pace. Can Buckland utilise that? Fair bit of lock for Quain again. Looks like a fair bit of rear left locking as he's coming down in the braking zone. Starting to close in on the battle going on up ahead. We're then seeing 4 drivers contesting for position 12. Gary Buckland's carrying a huge amount of pace. Quain runs wide, it's cost him, but he still has that inside line. Can he defend that position? Oh, they're close again, bumper to bumper, rubbing. Seeing Patterson sandwiched in between. Got 6 minutes remaining. That's only 4 or 5 laps left in the race. Currently on lap 24. Hammer's just retired by the looks of things. I can't see any recent incident. Corey Brand's currently parked up. Patterson may be towing at the moment, I'm not sure. Cameron Veacock, our race leader, still pushing out that gap. Almost 13 seconds ahead of Varndell. The gap between Varndell and Cairns still been holding for a fair few laps. Banks starting to reel them in a little bit. Cairns really closing in on Varndell now. for position 12, still continuing. Patterson's nosing in up along Buckland. He's got the pass, I think. He's on the outside. He's going to have to keep that momentum to be able to get him on the exit. That's caught Buckland offline, and it's opened the door for Stephen Martin to also sneak through. Also, we're dealing with some lap traffic. I think that may have been Anita Buckland's car. Yeah, it was. Would have been rather threatening situation to be showing blue flag through the hairpin. Seeing these four drivers come through, fighting it out in the hairpin. Queen goes rather wide, hitting those sausage curbs. The car didn't unsettle, they only just dropped a bit of pace. Buckland's dropped a few spots, but he's not out of this fight yet. He's still looking to give it to these guys. They have been intensely at it for so many laps. Some lap cars to get around, making it 3 wide to get around. They are using every bit of track, not wasting any time. They yield that tiniest little bit here. It's going to potentially cost them a couple of positions. There's only 1 to 2 laps left in the race now. Patterson and Martin side by side. Can Patterson get the run on him? Each side. Oh, that's Buckland. It's just gone for a slide. He's recovered. Not sure whose car that is. I think it may be a lap car. It's sitting in behind. Car 130. And it's Tony Phillips' car. Battling it out. Oh, Tucker going to commit to a move? No, it's going to be risky. Is he going to go around the outside? Door to door through 2 turns. Just sneaks in. Oh, there's contact. That's to Urquhart following him behind. Haley trying to yield to that track position. White flag waved. Peacock now on final lap. 13.5 seconds ahead of position 2. That's definitely not going to be contested at this point in the race. Does not need to risk anything whatsoever. A solid drive. Checker flags are out as Veacock comes to wrap up round 2. What a drive. Congratulations on the win for Cameron Veacock. Varndell managing to keep Cairns at bay, take position 2. Cairns on the podium, position 3. Banks crossing the line in 4th. Jones finishes 5th. That's after taking some heavy damage. The error on the car, and still across it. Schooler crosses the line, missing the bonnet on his car. Adrian Simpson in 7th. Sam Tucker, good recovery after the spin. Tucker 8th, Haitley in 9th. Ross in 10th. Urquhart crosses in 11th. Got some lap traffic. I've dared all our drivers to see if they can cram every car into the skid pan at the end of it. It'll be interesting to see if they hang around to actually try it out. Cars journeying off towards the skid pan, and we'll bring up those results now. And round 2 done after 30 laps. Over at Winton we have our winner, and that's Cameron Veacock. And also on the podium is Sebastian Varndell in position 2 and Damien Cairns in position 3. We then have Stephen Banks, Cameron Jones, Jason Schooler, Adrian Simpson, Sam Tucker, Justin Haitley, should I say, get his name wrong, Damien Cross, and then the next 10 is Stephen Martin, Blake Urquhart, Oliver Patterson, Gary Buckland, Michael Quain, Josh Harvey, Daniel Gomes, Ryan Ducati McCarthy, and Mark Cochran, and Shane Newens. He's getting tongue-tied trying to get through those names, and there are our final 10 drivers. Those burnouts going on in the background. We'll see if our drivers have jumped across. And congratulations guys, that was a good drive and fantastic win too, Cam.
Thanks bud. It was a good battle there early on with the boys, and then I'm not sure what happened. I think their tyres may have dropped off or something, but yeah, it just got hectic with lap traffic after that point.
Yeah, but a lot more better luck than what you had last week with lap traffic.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't get run into this many times this week, so I managed to keep the incident sheet nice and clean.
Yes, yeah, to fly through, and what led for full 27 laps in the end. So only just to drop that lead just to head into the pits. So fantastic drive, and the tyres last out for you as well. Did you take on a set during the stop?
No, I took on a set during the stop, but I think my tyre life just held out a lot better than most. Yeah, I dived in early because once again my calculator was telling me that was where I had open track to come out to. So I thought I'll take the opportunity there, and then Seb went round me, and it was just a matter of trying to push on and use the undercut to my advantage if I could.
Yeah. It definitely seemed to have paid off in the end, so it was a fantastic gap in there, 13.7 seconds, and it just kept pushing out every lap, so well done.
Thanks buddy.
And congrats, Seb. You were on mute.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, good race, Cam, and congrats on the win. Yeah, the tyres just did not hang on for me in that first stint. They dropped off after just a couple of laps. And then, in pit stop, I overfueled by like 5 laps, so yeah, that didn't really help.
Yeah, I did see that extra time costing you that position, so then I ended up seeing Cairns move on up ahead as well.
Yeah, there was a good battle with Damien there after the pit stop. But yeah, overall good race.
Yeah, well done, Damien. Didn't want to leave Sebastian alone at all.
No, I
Made sure you're in those mirrors the whole time for the last
I was
quarter of the
hoping,
race.
hoping he'd make a mistake, but he just wouldn't. He wouldn't. But I thought the undercut's the only way I'm gonna get in front of Stephen, because it's really hard to pass at Winton. And then yeah, I was a bit surprised when I came out in front of Sebastian, and then yeah, it was a really good battle to the end. I was hoping that he would just enough pressure, he might have made a mistake, but he didn't. So yeah, no, it was a good race.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, fantastic drive. It was great seeing us going peg to peg pretty much every lap. That pace was yeah, really hard to try and reel in. So it was fantastic to be able to sit there and see those lap times being put in.
Yeah, excellent.
And then hopefully it'll be even more intense racing next week for Phillip Island. So a little bit more room on track, which will be nice
Yeah,
for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, looking forward to it. That should be good.
Yeah, definitely. There's gonna be a lot more chances to overtake too, so there might be some bit more action at that point.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you definitely have to try and pick your battles for the corners around Winton. So it'll be nice to be able to get some good fast passes in there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the draft is going to help massively. The draft's not a major factor here unless you're fuel saving at Winton, because the straights aren't long enough.
No.
But when you get to Phillip Island, you'll be able to really stretch the legs.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see what sort of strategies we see coming into play and making all that difference.
Well, that's exactly right. My calculator was telling me to I take on 41 litres of fuel. I could have got away with about 39 because I was saving there towards the end of the first stint, but I took on 41 just to give my health that little bit. Whereas next week, Phillip Island's going to be crazy because you're going to have so much high speed stuff.
Yeah, definitely. She's going to be burning through much more, so it's going to be very crucial to nail that pit strategy.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully I can get it right again next week, and we'll see how we go.
That's it. Yep. Congrats, guys, on the solid drive tonight, and then good luck with it all next week.
No worries. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, JT. Thanks, boys, for the race.
Yeah, well done, Kev.
Okay.
No worries. Thanks, guys. There we have our podium finishes. Cameron Veacock taking out the win for round 2 of the Pagnian Super 2 series. And on the podium in position 2, Sebastian Van Del. And then in 3rd place is Damien Cairns. So congratulations to our podium finishers. And then also to all our drivers on a great race in the end. So they look very tidy in the long run compared to what we saw last week. So it's going to make my job looking at the replays much nicer coming forward. I'm hoping so, fingers crossed. But it was a fantastic race to see, and then it'll be even more fantastic heading into next week for round 3. That's at Phillip Island Circuit. So if you haven't hit that follow button, do so that you can be notified when we go live. We'll be back at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Monday, and there's more V8 action on our Project Cars 2 platform on Thursday night, so you can see some more V8s burning around. So there's plenty of racing to come ahead. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you trackside next time.